How much do you really know about keeping your secrets safe in a world full of prying eyes? In today's digital age, our personal information is more vulnerable than ever. We share our lives on social media, bank online, and store sensitive data on our devices, but how much thought do we really give to protecting ourselves? The reality is, our private information is a goldmine for cybercriminals, and if we're not careful, it can be exploited in ways that can have serious consequences. For many of us, it's easy to assume that our private information is safe, that no one is interested in our personal lives, but the truth is, there are people out there who make it their business to know our business. They use sophisticated methods to gather information, and once they have it, they can use it to manipulate, blackmail, or even steal from us. So, it's time to take control of our privacy and start protecting ourselves. It's time to start keeping secrets. In this video, we're going to explore the simple yet effective ways to safeguard your personal information and reduce the risk of it falling into the wrong hands. A strong password is the first line of defense in protecting our personal information. It's like the lock on our front door, and just like our front door, we need to make sure it's strong and secure. Weak passwords are like leaving our door wide open, inviting anyone to come in and take what they want. Using a password manager can help us generate complex and unique passwords for each of our online accounts, making it much harder for hackers to gain access. It's like having a master key that unlocks all our doors, but only we know the combination. Another way to strengthen our passwords is to use passphrases. These are like super long passwords made up of words, numbers, and symbols. They're hard to crack, and because they're longer, they're also harder to forget. But even with strong passwords, our accounts can still be vulnerable. That's where two-factor authentication comes in. Two-factor authentication is like having a second lock on our door. It adds an extra layer of security to our online accounts, making it much harder for hackers to gain access. Even if they have our password, they won't be able to get in without the second factor, which can be a code sent to our phone, our fingerprint, or even our face. This extra layer of security makes it much more difficult for cybercriminals to access our accounts, and it gives us an extra level of protection against identity theft and fraud. But passwords and two-factor authentication are just the beginning. Another way we can put ourselves at risk is by oversharing on social media. We've all been guilty of sharing a little too much on social media, but the reality is everything we share online is there forever. It's like writing on the wall for everyone to see, and once it's out there, we can't take it back. So, it's essential to be mindful of what we share online. We shouldn't share our home address, our phone number, or our birth date. We shouldn't share our financial information or our passwords. These are like golden nuggets for cybercriminals, and they'll do whatever it takes to get their hands on them. We should also be careful about who we connect with online. Just because someone sends us a friend request, it doesn't mean we have to accept it. We should always research people before connecting with them, and we should never accept requests from people we don't know. Public Wi-Fi networks are another area where we need to be careful. Using public Wi-Fi is like using a public computer. We don't know who else is using it, and we don't know what kind of malware or viruses might be lurking in the background, just waiting to pounce on our devices. So, when we use public Wi-Fi, we should always use a virtual private network, or VPN. This creates a secure connection between our device and the internet, making it much harder for hackers to intercept our data. We should also avoid accessing sensitive information when using public Wi-Fi. We shouldn't check our bank accounts, we shouldn't make online purchases, and we shouldn't access any sensitive data that we wouldn't want to fall into the wrong hands. Another way to protect ourselves is by keeping our software and apps up to date. When we don't update our software and apps, we're leaving ourselves open to attack. Hackers are constantly finding new ways to exploit vulnerabilities in outdated software, so it's essential to stay on top of updates. Updating our software and apps is like closing the door to our house. We're blocking the entrance for hackers, making it much harder for them to get in. Data encryption is another way to protect ourselves. Data encryption is like locking our sensitive information in a safe. Even if hackers get their hands on our data, they won't be able to read it because it's encrypted. We should always use encryption when sending sensitive information online, and we should always use secure connections when accessing websites. But even with all these precautions in place, we can still be vulnerable to phishing scams. Phishing scams are like wolves in sheep's clothing. They're designed to trick us into giving away our sensitive information, and they can be very convincing. So, it's essential to be aware of phishing scams and to know how to recognize them. We should always be cautious when receiving emails or messages that ask for our personal information, and we should never give away our passwords or financial information. Phishing scams are like a game of cat and mouse, and we need to be one step ahead of the scammers. To wrap up, protecting our privacy is all about being proactive. It's about being mindful of what we share online, using strong passwords and two-factor authentication, being careful when using public Wi-Fi, keeping our software and apps up to date, using data encryption, and being aware of phishing scams. By following these simple steps, we can reduce the risk of our personal information falling into the wrong hands and stay safe in a world full of prying eyes. So, what do you do to protect your privacy? Share your tips and experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and we'll catch you in the next video.